All right, everyone, now we need to talk about Kamala Harris. We can talk briefly about Warren, I guess, too, because Elon Musk called her Senator Karen because she wants to tax him huge amounts of money, does not understand finances, but is holier than thou and trying to woman-splain to him. She's trying to woman-splain to someone who, I mean, you can think that he's corrupt if you want, although better than some billionaires, but you can't think that he's dumb. He's the richest man in the world. And unlike some people who are super rich, he actually produced something to create that wealth. I will say that his flamethrower sucks. If you've seen reviews of those, dude, there are Russian-made flamethrowers that aren't that much more expensive, that are 2 or 3 times more powerful. Don't get the boring company flamethrower. It's essentially a gimmick. Other than that, though, Tesla has created something. So here comes Senator Karen, comes along, woman-splains to him about things she doesn't understand. She's still pushing a wealth tax that would effectively nationalize large chunks of the U.S. economy, causing a depression. So he calls her Senator Karen. Then she goes on with Joy Reid to complain about that, and they're like, "Whoa, he seems to have rather thin skin." That kind of response is exactly what you would expect from a Karen, and it's no coincidence, by the way, that it was Joy Appropriation Reid whose show she goes on. You remember Joy Reid claimed that it was cultural appropriation to use the term Karen unless you're black. This is the kind of moron we're dealing with, but then we get someone who also acts like a Karen. And by the way, the antiquated definition of Karen is having to be the white middle-aged woman who bracelet jingles and asks to talk to your manager. That has become so slightly outmoded. That sounds racist. So we've diversified the term Karen, and now it can apply to Kamala Harris. The bracelet jingling, finger wagging, head tilting, sassy, holier-than-thou HR spokeswoman who occasionally you have to talk to and you fucking hate it every time. It could be a running Dilbert joke, and probably should be. Kamala Harris goes on the show with Charlemagne Tha God. Now, you'll remember him as the dude who already flummoxed Elizabeth Warren. He already did that, talking about, I think it was in the context of her lying about her ethnicity, if I remember correctly, and she had no response. It was like a deer in the headlights. You'd think, after such an incident, you'd think Kamala Harris's people wouldn't allow her to appear on such a program, because there's going to be some gotchas. He actually attempts to do the job that he's supposed to do of being informative and entertaining, which is something you don't really get from people who do any breadth of analysis, have like political figures on their shows. Usually they're like fucking bobbleheads, or they go off into La La Land and act all angry and deranged. So he, link in the description, not archived because it's a disclosed TV video from Twitter, was asking her, well, who's really the president? Now the nuance is lost on her, apparently. Who's the real president? Is it Joe Biden or Joe Manchin? Now, this is in the context of Charlemagne Tha God, I guess, wanting a progressive agenda. And Joe Manchin is holding it up. Build back better. He's saying it needs to be way, way more cut down, or else I won't even consider voting for it. And the idea is that because Manchin has the premier swing vote in the Senate, and the capability potentially to temporarily stall filibuster for bills, he is effectively the kingmaker. Because Biden is out of it, and not part of the legislative branch, and doesn't really make his own decisions, because of course he's demented and his staff do everything for him other than speak his speeches, and that's the one thing he does worst of all, which should give you an example of the situation. Effectively, Joe Manchin is like an executive within the context of the Senate. This is not an out there statement to make. Many Democrats feel the same way. Now, I look at that and I say, good. Someone with marginally more sanity than the average Democrat is holding up some of the worst excesses of leftism, keeping us from a recession probably already in the process. Good. Progressives fucking hate him. And so he's confronting her. He's like, well, who's the real president? It seems like Biden can't muzzle Joe Manchin, in other words. Look at her response. It is exactly what we're fucking talking about. It's just like when Warren did her smarmy response on Joy Reid's show with regards to the idea of being called Senator Karen. She starts jingling her bracelet. No you didn't. No. Yeah, Joe Biden is the real president. And by the way, my name is Kamala Harris and I'm the vice president. I'm thinking to myself, he's not even really asking a pointed question. It's a lead-in, potentially speaking, for you to berate Joe Manchin for holding up your boss's agenda. Instead, and the Biden Democrats keep fucking doing this. Instead of attempting to woo Manchin, to bribe Manchin, which they do behind the scenes all the fucking time. It's illegal, but they do it anyway. Instead of giving him something that he wants, saying, look, you've got carte blanche here. We need to pass this in its current form, but don't worry. We can give you all sorts of cool toys. You know, West Virginia could use a new state library or something. Instead of buttering him up, instead of schmoozing with him and saying, you're such a great guy, Joe, we're kind of concerned about what you're doing with Build Back Better, but, you know, you're a legend. Wow, you're Joe Manchin. They berate him every day. The whole legacy media berates him. Joe Biden and apparently Kamala Harris berate him. Or they get all uppity, all hot under the collar when it's even pointed out that he's wielding that senatorial power that he's got. They treat him like a leper. They expect him to cooperate when they do absolutely nothing for him and act like he's the worst thing on earth. Half the legacy media controlled by the Democrat Party at this point is calling for him to be primaried off the face of the earth, which, by the way, won't happen. He's got reasonably high approval among a state that is extremely red. He's got wide-leaning Republican support there, too. Most Dems will vote Dem just because it's a Democrat. Good luck knocking him off in a primary that I believe is open in West Virginia. Could be wrong, but you fact-check that, but I'm pretty sure it is. Look at the Karenoid response. Look at the HR spokeswoman response. This is the person who has a larger office than you, and she fucking knows it. She is well aware of the fact that she can act with impunity and puff herself up and say, well, I'm the vice president of the United States, first woman of color to be in that position. How dare you, you know, you're black, but you're also male, how dare you mansplain to me about who the president is? That's what it is. And this is why she will never be the president unless she's put in that position because Biden croaks or leaves office. She would never get voted for that position. She was a blip on the radar in the primaries for a reason. She is a diversity hire. Exactly the sort of person the HR spokeswoman tends to be at any major corporation, by the way. That's about all. Peace out.